Hi, my name is Sian Durward Akhurst, and I'm a postdoctoral research fellow in the Equine Genetics and Genomics Lab at the University of Minnesota. I am interested in understanding why horses develop sudden cardiac death, with the goal of decreasing the rate of sudden death in both human and equine athletes. Today, I'm going to talk to you about an ongoing study on understanding cardiac arrhythmias in racehorses. Every year, around 500 racehorses die suddenly during a race. This is devastating for everyone involved with the horse and is an important source of negative publicity. Cardiac arrhythmias are an important cause of sudden cardiac death, and we are working to establish the causative genetic mutations. This will allow for identification of horses at high risk of sudden cardiac death, allowing for increased monitoring. Arrhythmias are abnormalities in the electrical activity of the heart, leading the heart to beat in an irregular pattern. And pathogenic arrhythmias, such as atrial fibrillation, which you may have heard of, lead to reduced ability of the heart to function. We are able to record the electrical activity of the heart using an electrocardiogram or ECG. Arrhythmias are really common in racehorses, with almost 50% of them having some kind of arrhythmia during or after exercise. While we don't fully understand what some of these arrhythmias do, we know that they can cause poor performance and sudden cardiac death. In humans, many of the arrhythmias that cause sudden cardiac death in young athletes are due to mutations in the genes that are involved in the normal electrical activity of the heart. We have identified similar mutations in racehorses with atrial fibrillation that may be causing cardiac arrhythmias in racehorses. We are in the process of collecting ECGs and DNA from 1,000 racehorses of 2 different breeds. We will then determine if the mutations that we have identified are associated with a higher risk of having an arrhythmia, having some other change in electrical activity, and/or sudden cardiac death. And the major outcomes of this study are determining if horses, like humans, have mutations that can cause cardiac arrhythmias and sudden cardiac death. We will also improve our understanding of the normal electrical activity in horses' hearts. Ultimately, our goal is to be able to identify horses that are in increased risk of developing sudden cardiac death, to allow for increased monitoring and retirement from racing before sudden cardiac death can occur. And what makes this project even more exciting is that the horse is the only naturally occurring animal model of human athletic-related sudden cardiac death. Every year, over 1,000 young and apparently healthy human athletes die during competitive sport, and identification of high-risk individuals is really challenging. Our hope is that through improving understanding of cardiac arrhythmias and sudden cardiac death in racehorses, we can improve understanding of sudden cardiac death in human athletes as well. Thank you very much for listening.